Everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of the Bashor 99 Club. I'm your host, Vince Turner. Thanks to Dave O'Connor for sitting in the last time, and I'm healthy again, and we're ready to roll. And we're going to talk about some pretty special people involved in a special program tonight. But first, let me remind you that the 99 Club, we're trying to recruit 99 friends to donate $99 to support the programs that make the Bashor mission come alive, providing help for today, hope for tomorrow, to families and children throughout the Michiana area and throughout Indiana. We're not beyond providing a little bit of an incentive, or bribo, as we used to say in the radio days. You donate $99 and you'll get one of these really neat Bashor 99 Club t-shirts. Looks good on me, so think about how really good it'll look on you, or someone like Colby, who's still got like that basketball body going on. It's the Bashor 99 Club, $99 from 99 folks. Join the hunt at bashor.org. And remember, you click on the 99 icon, that's it. It's that simple. We also want to give a thank you to our underwriters for our 99 Club program that's live here on Facebook. Obico Corporation, your custom sewing manufacturing specialists. New Way Construction, they build relationships. Patrick Industries, better living starts with better materials. And Genesis Products, elevating environments for work, for home, and play. Those are our supporters. Thanks a lot for those folks who support the Bashor 99 Club. Well, I'm really excited because it's not only professional, but it's also personal for me tonight. Some good friends are joining us to talk about the foster care program here at Bashor Children's Home. Colby and Crystal Denman. You know, the first thing we need to do is Colby and I need to agree, no Turner stories, no Denman stories. Okay. Yeah. All right. Your secrets are safe with me, and my secrets need to be safe with you. I've known Colby for a long time, since he was, well, I don't know if you were ever that tall, but maybe about this tall. And I also had the opportunity to broadcast Concord basketball when Colby was a member of the Minutemen. And, you know, here's what we were talking about before we went on the air. Doesn't matter how many minutes were played. Doesn't matter how many points were scored. Doesn't matter whether or not there's a Hall of Fame involved. You have a ring, right?
Yes,
Yeah, Colby wears a ring. There aren't too many people walking around saying, I got a ring. So Colby's got that. Colby's also got Crystal, who says, I don't care if you got a ring. You're cleaning the garage this afternoon. Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's good. She's quick. Yeah, you got to watch out. Yeah,
I let her do most of the talking.
Well, we're here again to talk about the foster care program. But first of all, I'd like you just to talk a little bit about yourselves. And Crystal, I'll start with you. Just talk a little bit about your faith journey, because it's faith that brought you here to Bashor Children's Home and the foster care program. Just talk a little bit about how that's grown over the last couple of years and how you felt called into this service.
Yep. Okay, so I grew up around foster children.
Mm-hmm.
The other families in our church had foster children, had adopted children. So I was always around it and involved in playing with these kids. And I've always wanted to be a foster mom. And so throughout, before Colby and I were together, I've had kids live with me, not through the system.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was hard at one point because I was a single mom. I have a daughter. So it was really hard as a single mom for a while because some boys had some high needs, but it's not impossible. And so then Colby and I were talking about getting married several years ago, and I had mentioned being a foster family, and he's like, no, that's not my thing. Yeah. And so when we went through marriage counseling before we got married, Pastor Tony was like, well, they adopted two through foster care. And he said, well, I didn't want to be a foster parent either. And my wife told me to pray that she would pray about it. And we adopted two kids and, and they had a great time. So he goes, so pray about it. And so then I did. And then 5 years later, Pastor Brett at Sugar Grove had put a post out on the men's wall on Facebook, and we share our Facebook, and said, hey, Bashor is looking for a foster parents for a kid. And so I said, hey, Colby, would you consider being a foster parent? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know if now's the right time. And so I was like, well, just think about it. A couple days go by. Hey, Colby, can I contact Bashor? Just to see what they have to say. And he was like, all right, fine.
You know what's
So I
happening. You know what's
contacted
happening.
Gary,
Yeah.
and Gary did a video chat with us, and then and he said, well, can I just come and talk to you face to face? I like to talk face to face. And we're like, yeah, sure. Well, I said, is that okay? Yep, that's okay. And so Gary comes over just to talk. And we have this, how long did we talk to him? A couple hours.
Mhm.
And then at the end of our talk, Colby goes, how do we sign up?
Ah.
And it was like, Gary and I are like, wait, we weren't going to do this, you know? And so just like my faith, like God can move mountains, and he plants things in people's heart. And it's not for me to make it grow. It's for him.
Yeah. Well, I know what happened to Colby. When you said pray about it, you also turned to Exodus and you pointed out the locusts and the toads and the boils. And...
Don't say I didn't warn
Colby,
you.
You want to do this? Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Colby, I think it's important as we talk about this, because we want to be, as David's pointed out in production meetings, to be real about this. It's not all sugarcoat. It's not all, as my favorite basketball announcer, Al McGuire, used to say, seashells and balloons. You obviously had some reluctance. Talk, if you will, about some of those things that are very real, the reluctance of diving into this.
Well, you know, the unknown. You just don't know. I mean, they give you the information, and I guess when you meet the kids, and then when you start moving on to getting to know the kids, it's just like you still have that. Well, okay, you're getting this feel from the child, but do you really know what you're getting? You know, and so it's like, so I honestly, I'm just going to be straight and blunt. When my reservations were, it was a selfish reasons.
Yeah,
selfish reasons. And with talking with Crystal a little bit more, opening up, and then talking to Gary, it's like, you know, there's more people that need, you know, more kids that need help, and we have to step up as adults and do that. But yeah, it's sugarcoating. It's difficult at times, you know, and it's not all roses all the time. And we are just figuring that out as we go.
Well, it is process.
Yes.
I mean, it's not something that's going to happen right away.
Right.
We should point out the Gary that we mentioned in this conversation is Gary McCrae. He's the program director for therapeutic foster care here at Bashor Children's Home. You can reach more information, and you can get Gary's direct contact from bashor.org. So we would encourage you to have that same conversation. There's also a series of videos that is on the Bashor homepage that talks directly about therapeutic foster care, and you can click in and get some of your questions answered as well. So, Crystal, I'll go back to you. What happened where it finally went ding ding? We're doing this.
I left it in his court because I was ready. You know, and when he was ready, because I couldn't. I knew I could force him to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a good
oh yeah,
husband.
I'm a married guy too. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But I knew it wouldn't be a successful thing.
Yeah.
So he had to know the ins and outs. He had to know. Gary answered his hard questions. Like Gary's like, ask me whatever you want to ask me, and I'll answer. And Gary didn't sugarcoat it. He laid it flat out for him, and he respected that. And he was like, okay, all right, we're going to do this. And, you know, Bashor stands by you like every step of the way through it all. So when Colby was ready to do it, we started, you know.
So Colby, I want to go back to something you said in one of your answers. You talked about it was selfish reasons. You know, in your mind, it was selfish reasons.
Right.
What finally peeled that away?
No, seriously, I finally realized with Gary's help, I wasn't going in it alone, you know, and, you know, she is, we support each other well through this, very well through this. And she supported me and I supported her on the decision. And we're just like, I just saw what Gary had to offer for us through Bashor with all the help that we were going to get through this, that, you know, I was just like, there's no reason for me to be selfish about this at all. We need to help somebody. You know, so
and you're both of you, your faith is deep, and at this point in your life, your feet are in two different, very successful churches here in this area, Sugar Grove and Grace Community. Pastor Jim Brown at Grace Community, and Brett Baronic and the staff, Pastor Tony at Sugar Grove. Did you have conversations with people in both congregations where you just kind of felt out what the next step was going to be?
Maybe not the next step, but Brett really helped us. Like when he made that post, I contacted him. And so he was trying to get people like for us to contact at Bashor. And then at Grace, they've started a new like program where they do a wraparound service of foster families.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they're actually getting our team together to surround us to help. Like if we're busy and they want to do yard work, we need yard work, they'll come to your house and do yard work. Or they'll come, someone will find you every week and what's your prayer request? What do you want us to pray for? Or if we need someone to take the kiddo for us to go be able to go do something. So they've really started that new ministry there. And so that's why we were really drawn, with connecting there as well.
Wow.
So
I want to get into the start of the process, but first another reminder that we are at the Bashor 99 Club. The 99 Club, looking for 99 people willing to donate $99 to be a part of this club. You get this nice t-shirt, but then you get the satisfaction of being able to support the many programs, including therapeutic foster care here at Bashor Children's Home. So go to bashor.org, click on the icon, give us your information and your $99, and that's it. And a thank you also to Obico Corporation, New Way Construction, Patrick Industries, and Genesis Products, 4 community-minded organizations and industries here in Elkhart County who are very, very strong in supporting not only Bashor Children's Home, but other organizations serving children as well. And we are very appreciative for their support here for the Bashor 99 Club. We're talking with Crystal and Colby Denman. We're talking about therapeutic foster care. They are relatively new therapeutic foster parents being involved in the program. So folks, take us through that first of all, the training process. How well do you get prepared to do what you're about to do?
Extremely. Gary came to our house, I don't know how many times, like
it was
numerous for like 2 to 3 hours.
Okay.
And we just talk about scenarios and, questions we had or types of children we could get and the problems and how we could deal with them. We watched videos. It was several months we spent with him, and you can't prepare for everything.
Right.
So, I mean, just like with your own kids, things happen,
Here's this new baby.
Yeah.
You're never prepared.
Not at all. And so it's, we've done a lot. We've gone to trauma seminars, the Lost Sparrow. We did training on our own. We went through TBRI. It's trust-based relational intervention for children who have gone through trauma, and read books. We've done a lot of research on our own with it as well. Plus talking to other foster parents.
Yeah. That was my follow-up question. Did you talk with other foster care parents and what kind of things did you learn from them that maybe you didn't learn from books, from training, from those kind of things? Because nothing beats one-on-one.
Yeah, you get the good, the bad, and the really ugly. Or they're like, I want to pull my hair
Kinda
out
like Colby's
sometimes.
game when he played.
But he still has a full head.
We weren't going to go there.
There we go.
Okay. You got one.
But yeah, just like one of my friends, she has adopted 2 kids. She's a single mom. She adopted 2 kids through foster care. She's adopting her 3rd kid and then is going to get her 4th kid as a single mother.
Oh my.
So there's 2 of us. We can do this, and then I have another friend who has high special needs kids and, very emotional needed children. And her and her husband, they work together. And so it's it just gives you hope and encouragement and to see you're not alone. You might feel bad, I shouldn't have said that or reacted that way. And it's well, they did too. We're not alone in that.
Yeah.
You just got to kind of pick up and keep going.
You make a lot of mistakes on the way.
Oh yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said earlier, it's a learning process.
Yeah.
And you make mistakes along the way, but you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah. And now you've gone from a partnership to now a triumvirate. There are 3 people involved here. And all 3 of you are learning at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that first encounter, the first meeting, the process of where you actually welcome a young man into your home?
Mm-hmm. First, they send you the information.
Right.
They'll email you the information on the kiddo. And the cool thing with Bashor is every step of the way, you can say if you want to continue or if you want to stop. And so they send us the information. Are you interested in talking to him? We're like, yeah, sure. So he was on lockdown at that point. So we did a video chat and it went well. And so then go ahead.
Yeah. Lockdown as in like COVID.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Just want to clarify that
point.
I didn't think about that. And so then a couple days later, I forget why you couldn't go, but I went and I met with him face to face. And that went well. And then was it the next day you came then with me?
Yep.
And so at first they have another staff member sitting with you. Also, this kid is meeting people he doesn't know.
Right.
Right. And so, and you got to think about the other people that have been in their lives.
Right.
And he had no trust. He didn't know us. He had no reason to trust us. So they have another staff member. And plus they have behaviors, too. And so then after a while, they kind of move up levels. So we had that. And then the staff would sit with us. And then we had where staff wasn't sitting with us. And then when we got to move to another room and spend longer together. And then we got to where we could go out on campus, walking around, play basketball, walk in the woods, whatever. And then we got to pass 2 hours out into the community.
Okay.
Then 4 hours. With him, we kind of changed it a little bit because of his needs and what, it's gone longer than normal kids, but that's what he needs. So now then he would do passes to our house for like 2 hours, then 4, and they just keep increasing it. And now he's up to 4 nights a week with us, but we see him 6 days a week.
Right.
That's our choice. You don't have to. Bashor really goes with what works for you and your family.
Right.
Okay. So tell us a little bit, Colby, about how that process then, I mean, you'd had your questions answered. You'd had some of your fears answered. But then when you actually have, when there's a human being and not a book or a video in front of you, some of those questions obviously are going to come back. How did those questions get answered for you then during the conversation process and the meeting process?
With the with TW? Okay. So yeah, when I met him, it was, I was very leery. I was like, the first time I met him, I was just like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
How do you approach this? And so I just really quick questions and stuff like that. And it was like, what kind of sports do you like?
Yeah.
Basketball.
Okay, there you
let's
go.
go play basketball. So it's a segue. You have to find your segue. You have to find that common ground. And when you find that common ground, then you have something to go on. And then it's like, and then it gets easy. It's like, what was I so worried about?
Yeah.
It was like, your fears are the unknown, and then they're not.
Then when you know,
yeah, exactly. It's just real quick. It goes away really fast, real fast. I mean, it was like I said, we make mistakes, but still, it was just like, okay, this is kind of comfortable, and I didn't even know him, and so it was great. I had a good time with him.
So
still do.
What's the interactions like? Is the trust starting to build?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's shared stuff with us that he hasn't shared with anybody.
Oh
yeah. He trusts us a lot. We had to earn that. And people in his lives have been in and out of his life.
Right.
His entire life.
So it's like, when are you going to leave?
He actually has said that to us.
Yeah, I'm sure that kids always have that fear. I think that's an ongoing fear.
Yeah.
They realize that. Yeah, they really do love
Well,
me.
and at times you get the acting out part where they're going to push you because they want to see if they can make you leave.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Do they really mean what they say?
Right.
And we did come to that point one time in July. There was just a lot. With us, he's very, very good, but here he causes a lot of issues with his peers. He's been here a long time.
Yeah.
And so, he was refusing to come with us one time, and Colby first came, and then I was like, well, I'll come after work. And so I walked in and I made an error where I said, you have 10 minutes to decide. You come with me now. Or I'll give you 10 minutes to think about it. You come with me and we'll continue on. We'll get past this. But if you refuse, then we're done because we're not playing this game.
Yeah.
And so we sat there, and at the end of 10 minutes, he said, I'm going to refuse. I want to be with you guys, but I want to refuse. And I said, I'm sorry. I told you, because I'm a very black and white, which this is trying to teach me to be a little gray. Because he didn't have the emotional maturity to make that decision in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I forced that on him.
Okay.
So when I was leaving, he starts crying. See, I knew you'd leave too.
Oh, okay.
And I went home and I was just a mess. And I'm like, I don't think we made the right decision. And Colby's like, yes, it's fine. We're fine. And then like 2 days later, I'm talking to Gary. I'm like, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Because if you say you're done, because you have a say every step in the way. So does the kid. The kid has a voice as well. And you have a choice. And then after a couple of days, Gary calls and I'm like, Colby and I talked for like hours, and he sat in our kiddo's room and he was like, we're supposed to move forward. You're right. We're supposed to move forward. So we called Gary, and Gary's like, well, yeah, if you want to move forward, let me talk to the team. And the team agreed to it. And it's been wonderful.
That's like I said, you're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right.
And we had to apologize to him.
You're going to.
Now, see, and that's interesting because, and this goes to, it's not just foster parenting skills, it's parenting skills. So many of us, we've all said, if you're not down here in the next 3 minutes, I'll tell a story on myself. We're going somewhere, and my high school age daughter was kind of kedaddling, and I said, look, we're going to leave without you. And, she kind of challenged it, and I left. And, my wife is like, what are you doing? And, well, I drove around the block and came back, because I was just I'll show you. And then she ended up not going. Yeah. Similar to TW, is that right?
It's his initials.
Okay. Yeah. To what TW had done, like they drew the line. And so you learn, in addition to the child learning as well.
Yeah.
So in that learning process, whether it's this or something else, how much of it is where you thought you were doing something to serve God and you found out that God's working on you instead?
Oh, every step.
I think you said it to me last time we saw each other at church.
Yeah. He's going to get you. Yeah. It brings that ugly to the surface. And it's like, what are you going to do with it then?
Yeah.
Like our selfishness, because we were empty nesters before this. And it's like, what did we get ourselves into? Like we had it easy. What are we thinking? We're starting over. And our friends and our family are saying that. But it brings your selfishness. It brings like your anger, and it's not, if you're okay in that area, that shouldn't bother you.
Yeah.
But these kids, they learn where that wound is and throw that salt in and rub it in. And it's like, now what? What are you going to do with that?
Well, it's their coping mechanism. I learned that in my time here when I was on campus, is that, the kids have this coping mechanism. They've learned in their mess how to survive. And there's nothing they haven't seen. Yeah. And so, you learn it too. Yeah. And it's interesting. We're talking with Colby and Crystal Denman. I used to talk for a living, it's hard to believe.
You've come a long way.
Okay, well, Connor's back next time. But we want to remind you just one more time about the Bashor 99 Club. Do you like what you hear? Do you like some of the things you're hearing about the program, whether it's the foster care program or some of the other things we've talked about during Facebook Live? This is your opportunity to support it. We're looking for 99 friends who have $99 that they can spare to support. Go to bashor.org and hit the tab. And once again, thank you to our supporting sponsors, Obico, your custom sewing manufacturing specialists, New Way Construction, they build relationships, Patrick Industries, better living starts with better materials, and Genesis Products, our good buddy John Winger, elevating environments for work, for home, and for play. So bring us up to date. Where are you at right now in terms of the process? Is TW living with you permanently? Does he come for just a certain period of time? Where are you right now in that?
I'll answer that.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, he is staying with us. We use Friday nights as our date night.
Okay.
I think it's very important that you get quality time with just the two of you.
Yep.
Even when the process is he's fully in the house at full time, you need that time.
Right.
But right now, he is in our house overnight, Saturday night, Sunday night, and Monday night. And starting next week, he'll be there Tuesday night as well.
Okay.
And then he stays. Then I pick him up on my way home from school, and he's with us until 7:30.
From 2 to 7:30.
Okay.
From 2 to 7:30 until Thursday night. So, and then Thursday nights we do family therapy with him.
Okay.
And some individuals.
Yeah.
So the time commitment is eased somewhat by Bashor being involved in the training programs and the therapy programs and everything else.
Yes.
So you're not sailing in this alone. It's
No,
not like,
no.
here's your child, and I think that's some fear that some folks have. But here at Bashor Children's Home, that it's pretty intensely involved. You have lots of partners.
Right. Even when he comes to us full time, Bashor's always going to be there.
Every week.
Yeah.
They come to your house every week. And we have text messages of a lot of the staff. We have emails. If there's a question, if there's a problem, we just text, call, email, and they're all like, and we have team meetings like every 2 weeks almost, it seems like, with his team, like trying to figure out ways so you are not alone. And even his teachers, like in the schools, like everybody comes together and just tries to collaborate to help him be successful.
All right, Bashor friends, fair warning, get the Kleenex out, because this is the question I've been saving for the end of the program. Crystal, first of all, your favorite TW story.
Oh, my favorite. Oh, yeah, my favorite. We were talking to him about, how we love having him at our house and we love him being, and I said, you are such a blessing. And the look on his face, he looked at me and he goes, you think I'm a blessing? And I said, yeah. And I said, we are so glad to have you in our house. We want you. We chose you. And you're a blessing. And he's like, I don't look at myself like that. He's always been told he's a problem. And it's just the look on his face is priceless. I will never forget that time with him.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And like you said, first time he's heard that, or one of the first times he's heard that. Colby, your favorite TW story?
Well, there's a couple different reasons why you might cry at this, but 2 weeks ago we took him to his first Notre Dame game.
Oh wow!
So against Marshall.
Okay.
So he just was quiet the whole time.
Yeah.
And just to look at him and his head was looking back and forth the whole time, just taking it all in. I think he was very, very into it, and he had no words. He couldn't even explain it. He'd never been to a football game, never had an experience like that. But like I said, it was against Marshall. So there's a couple different reasons why.
That's why the Kleenexes need to come out.
Well, that's things happen.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that, something that you and I and others take for granted. Go to the Notre Dame football game, and for someone to experience it that first time would be just absolutely amazing. So
I figured he'd be a chatterbox.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Nothing. It was just
soaking
like
it all in.
I could just watch him, and I was like.
So how did he process it afterwards? When you're like on the way home or afterwards?
It's the same thing. I think he was just awestruck by the whole thing.
Wow.
I mean, it was just like, how'd you like it? We had to try and engage him a little bit. He was like, that was so awesome. It was just like, he had no clue what he just did.
Yeah, he's like, that was overwhelming.
And you get that with foster kids. A lot of kids have never had sand between their toes from the beach. So,
Yeah.
So all those first experiences, but the great thing about that is that you get that opportunity to re-experience those first experiences through the eyes and through the heart of your foster child.
Because I remember my first Notre Dame game, and it was just, I get it.
Oh yeah.
So
and it's that or the first anything, IU basketball game, whether you go to your first baseball game, whatever the case may be. So obviously, this is a rather simplistic question, but what would you do? What would you say as we wrap this up to encourage people? Not necessarily, this isn't a sales job to sell foster care. It's what it is asking you to ask the questions, asking you to explore the options, explore the opportunity. So what would you do to encourage friends, people who are tuned in, etc.? What would you do to get people to talk to Gary, to talk to others about, hey, at least ask the questions?
Oh, absolutely.
Go ahead.
Gary's so open.
Mhm.
Like you can literally ask him anything, and
Mhm.
he is fully honest with
Mhm.
you,
Mhm.
like fully honest
Yeah.
with you. And we've met other foster parents, you know, through Bashor. He had us meet them, and we could ask them whatever we wanted. But don't let the unknown scare you.
Mhm.
Don't let, you know, a kid like, you know, I've heard people, I could never do that. I couldn't love a kid and then have him leave and but like that's unfair
Mhm.
to the kid who's never even experienced love, you know. So
Yeah.
to protect yourself, you're willing to not give it.
Yeah.
You know, and just don't be afraid to ask the questions. Just ask. Asking doesn't make a commitment.
Mhm.
It's just asking, and you don't know unless you ask.
Mhm.
That's terrific. Colby, your answer would just be, hey, listen to your wife.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you just you can't be afraid. You just can't. I mean, because the unknown is not to know.
Mhm.
And how do you know that this couldn't be the best thing that you've ever done in your
Mhm.
entire life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that impacted me most about this conversation is that all along the way, Gary and others, the staff, Bashor offers you the opportunity to go, it's not for us.
Right.
No guilt, no hard feelings,
Nope, not at all.
whatever. But once you get going in this process, that's not likely to happen.
Yeah.
So
It's
Yeah.
not.
No.
appreciate you both. I'm looking forward to meeting TW sometime.
Yeah.
When you either come to
Oh,
Sugar
he wants to
Grove
meet
or out
Irish
there
Dave.
or
He's
whatever.
like, you're meeting a
All right, yeah,
celebrity.
well, you know what? You know what? Make him earn it.
Yeah.
Break the yard, do whatever. But the opportunity to meet Irish Dave. So while we're at it, we're going to say thank you to Irish Dave for providing the production for tonight. Thanks to Colby and Crystal for offering all of this. Just a couple of reminders. You can go to bashor.org, click the foster care page. There are some informational videos. There's a frequently asked question list. There's a lot of basic information you can do to prepare. And Gary's phone number is 574-875-5117. He is extension 2370. I'll give you that once again, 574-875-5117. Or just as easy, bashor.org. This is Vince Turner saying good night, everyone.